Good evening. This will be, there's a stack of meetings I was going to say a few words about. I've got a meeting on tomorrow at Hawkesbury. You're all mad if you don't get up to Hawkesbury tomorrow. It's picking up, absolutely picking up. Now look, I didn't say anything last Saturday, today, a week ago. I'm going to say a few things about some meetings that I didn't comment on. We go back to the 3rd of December, the meeting at Canterbury. The rail was 6 metres out that day. The track was this new rating. We've got a soft 6. And as the day went on, there was nothing wrong with the fence, although there weren't that many runners that actually stayed on the fence. Well, the last race, the last race, the 3 place getters were filled the placings in the last race, all railing up. And before that, we did have winners coming down the outside. I've got to say there was no bias on the track. We had a southeasterly breeze blowing all day. That was on the 3rd of December, Wednesday, a week ago. We went to Gosford the very next day, on the 4th. It was a soft 6, they said. The rail was in the normal position, and there was a northeasterly breeze blowing, and I would say that there was no bias on the Gosford track either. Without going into the meeting, there were runners that led on the fence and won, and runners that came from well back in the field. For instance, in race 3, we saw a runner called Lucy's Boy, trained on the track by Kylie Gavenlock. Apparently, I've watched a few times, but gets completely checked out of the race at the start and finishes up and settles down in last position. The favourite and 2 others in this race went very fast, setting a very fast pace, and Lucy's Boy came very quickly at the finish to round them up and win. Had to be seen to believe, but we have seen it all before. So that was Gosford. Newcastle ran on the Saturday, the provincial meeting today, a week ago, and there was a northeasterly breeze blowing. There was a soft 6. The rail was in the normal position, and I must, not must, in my opinion, there was no bias. There was no bias on the track. They led and won, and they also came from behind. So that got to Saturday, today, a week ago, out of the way. Then we went to Hawkesbury, like we have tomorrow. Hawkesbury last Sunday, where we only were able to run 5 races. The last 2 races were abandoned because of the stormy weather we have been having. Last Sunday at Hawkesbury, the rail was 2 metres out from the 800 to the 400. The track was a heavy 8, and I did think earlier on the day that the fence might have been a little bit sus, and it possibly was that way for the rest of the day until we did get some light rain before race 3, and off the rail, yes, was slightly better at Hawkesbury last Sunday. And runners that did stay close to the fence were, I would say, in the worst going. We got to last Saturday at Rosehill, the 6th of December, where we had a soft 7. The penetrometer was upgraded overnight. The rail was in the normal position, and well, they avoided the fence all day. The hickey hockeys. We did see in race 5 the runner that stayed closest to the fence and lead put in a fairly good performance, and that was, of course, Pythagorean in race 5, where it led on the led early on the fence, and then it allowed the eventual winner, Beauty's Beast, ridden by James McDonald, to get up on his outside, and Pythagorean was ridden by Clever Karen, and Cassidy, who ran third on the race on Amavotio, who looked certain to win coming down the right section of the track, halfway down the straight, but failed to catch Beauty's Beast, who just nosed out Pythagorean, who drew barrier 1, and as I say, stayed closest to the fence and was only beaten the margins in that race were 0.1 by 0.3 of a length. So Pythagorean's run was quite good, but last Saturday at Rosehill it was an advantage to be off the fence. We saw very heavy rain, light rain before. Well, the track by the time we got to race 6 was upgraded to a soft 5. But then we had light rain during race 7, and then of course there was very, very heavy rain before race 8, and the track was downgraded to a heavy 8 at least, if not even a 9. And we saw the winner here, Babiro, save ground, which is sometimes the case when we get heavy rain. Save ground on the fence, and by the same token, after turning for home, did get off it, a good 5 or 6 horses off it, and was headed by the second horse, Forget, who at least got a half a length in front, and Babiro kicked again on the inside of it and beat it by 0.4 of a length, and they got right away from the others. So the saving ground on the inside there, or Babiro, is a very good weather horse. Could have proved the winning factor, or Forget slightly died on its run. Work that one out for yourself. Of course, last Saturday we had all of the big celebrations. Wasn't it wonderful? The TAB, the filthy TAB, the cancer of racing, was 50 years old. Oh, isn't it wonderful? They were 50 years old. They had a big cake, a big green cake, the unlucky colour in racing, for their 50th birthday party, and we all put the hats and whistles on for the lovely Tab, as I say, the cancer of racing, and they got their own. There's only one station, a radio station you can listen to now, as I say, and that's they own it, the Tab, and they've got their own propaganda machine, and all the poison pen riders, they wrap the Tab up big time. And oh yes, wonderful, what a wonderful system. You can never educate a nice mug. You can never educate a nice mug, and I tell you what, they have got the best steamers in the world betting with them. How anyone has a bet with the TAB, the tuberculosis, the Tab, the cancer of racing, has got me absolutely cattled. If it wasn't for the, we all know, if it wasn't for the rebate boys getting the, I wonder what they put on their at the end of the year, that they say, oh, commission out 180 million. If it wasn't for those commission boys, boy, the house of cards would fall down. So wasn't it lovely to celebrate their 50th? Fancy the Filthy Tab being now in business for half a century. God, I remember when they had that first day when they went off course. So it only takes a spot to, unfortunately, there's rotten cancer to get into your system, and if you don't cure it, it spreads like wildfire. And that's what the TAB has done to racing. We went to Warwick Farm last Wednesday. God, they had a crowd there. There were 8 people. Track was heavy, rail was normal. We had a steady all-day easterly breeze blowing. Didn't have any effect on any of the results, but if you went close to the fence, that did have an effect on the result, because you had no hope if you stayed near the fence. You could lead, which some runners did, and win. The last winner sat outside the leader and but always off the fence. Was there another leader to do that? Yes. In the second race we saw Racy, ridden by jovial Josh Parr, and extremely well backed, from $6 into $4.20. Hard to get at the end of betting. It led, but stayed away from the 18 pence and got to the middle of the track, hanging out a little bit, and got the cash. So you could likewise in race 3, Music Magnate, who was extremely well back, from $5.50, 9 to 2 we gave, only started 3 to 1, 9 to 2 to 3s, or 5.50. Now we've got the decimal odds, and we haven't got we've got the decimal odds now. We haven't got the imperial system. 5.50 into $4 was Music Magnate, and it led off the fence and was able to keep on going. So you could lead and win, or come from behind, as runners did. The first winner, but stay off the fence and win. That first winner that won there on Wednesday, Better Not Blue, it might have ability, that horse, because it sat back in last. There were 6 runners. They sat in pairs before the turn. It was last on the fence, but ridden by Robbie Brewer, a very underestimated rider. He eased off. He eased this runner off the fence before the turn, and got to the outside of runners come straightening, and it and the second horse got right away from the others. And as I say, this runner, Better Not Blue, looks to have a little bit of talent, or might have a lot of talent. We got to, we went to Rosehill yesterday. Rosehill yesterday, wasn't it wonderful there? The Captain Cook, they put because the ring flooded there the week before, the water came right through the betting ring at one stage there, and everybody looked like getting electrocuted. Not us captains on the outside. We were well above the water line there, so we never even had to get off our stands. And a funny thing, when the water came right through the betting ring, the drains just couldn't take the water. They all get blocked up with all the loose money that's lying around on the ground in the ring. It blocks up the drains, and they couldn't get the grates open to get the cash out. They had to wait till it disappeared, and the water. I've seen it come through there twice before, but only go halfway through the marketplace. But this was so torrential there today week ago, that it actually came and went right through the betting ring up to the interstate Captain Cookies. We've got 2 interstate Captain Cookies now on the fence. 2. Gee whiz, it's a vibrant industry, this, isn't it? Anyway, it went right up to another grate up the other end, and it was sucking the water down there, big time. And it was all of us captains were very glad that the drains did get blocked up, because a lot of people actually came in to see, a lot of patrons from inside where all the robots are. They came out to have a look what the commotion was all about, and we had more people in the ring when the ring was flooded than we did when it was dry. God, we might do that, block the drains up in future, full full of water, and we'll get a few more people to come into the betting ring. It was before the water came. You've never seen a meeting like it. It was maggotless. There wasn't a grumble and grunter in sight. It was cooey. All the 6 retired Greek card players, one of them on a walking stick, waiting for one of the pros to have a bet, and the pros didn't take part. Oh my God, it was very ocean there last Saturday at Rosehill, and we went there, as I say, yesterday, because the inside track at Randwick, the Kenzo, they've got to dig it up and fix it again. When I was walking into Randwick today, anybody who is wanting to know what soil they should put on the course on the Kenzo track, as you walk in past the members stand, the members car park, as you come just to the right of the main gates at Randwick, they've excavated. I think they're going to build units there or something. It's where the trams and the buses used to come before. They're going to excavate. They've already excavated down a good few feet of all the lovely soil, and the further they go down, you see all of this white, loamy sand. Now that's what used to be out in the middle of the Kenzo track, and it is and the grass grows on the top of it like wildfire because it's acclimatised. Now that's what they should be looking at, what they should be putting on the Kensington track. Dig up all around the members' car park there, and you'll go down and you'll find all that beautiful soil, put it on the Kenzo track, and your problem's solved. That's what went out of there in the first place. But unfortunately, you'll have to dig. There's most probably there wouldn't be enough around the track. You could knock down a few of the houses around the place and so forth, and you'd be able to get plenty of soil. But that's the soil that you need for the Kenzo track. And the reason we raced at Rosehill yesterday, because as I say, they were fixing the Kenzo track up, and there were I think there were eight captains there on yesterday. 8 on the there were 7. Dr. Devon, there were 7, and they had us inside. They said, we'll put the captains inside because it's a twilight meeting and there mightn't be too many people turn up. And there were 7 of us inside, and I was the only captain in the outside ring, and it was a cooey job. There was one captain said to me, so this is going to be better in here. I said, are you cracking jokes? You must be mad. So what do you mean? I said, well, look, see all these blokes over here on the table. You think they're going to bet with us? They're here for the pen and ink. Don't you understand? All they do is get the pen and ink into them, and then the next thing you know, they start bellowing like they did, and they give you a headache. Plus, it's an echoing sound in there, and every time there's a race on, and there's 1,000 races a minute, you know that. Well, it just echoes through. It's like a big echo chamber, and the 6 Greek retired card players, they were there, and there was only one pro there, and he only bet in 2 races. The others, they were all out on the harbour having lobster mornay. They always do that on Fridays, getting ready for the Saturday slaughter job on the captains. And there was just nobody there. It was a fair dinkum joke. And the track there yesterday, well, it was upgraded. Well, there's a heavy 8 or a heavy 9, they said, then to a heavy 8. Oh, I think they finish up. Yes, they did. They said it's only a softy 7 at the finish, and you could win from anywhere. It was a matter of handling it. You could swoop down the outside. You couldn't stay really close to the fence and win. You had to be off the fence, but you could slide inside runners or get middle splits and win. The breeze stayed in exactly the same direction all day from the southeast, and it was quite stiff at times and then steady at others. You could, as I say, you could. There wasn't. There wasn't a leader. There wasn't a leader to win all day. They came off the pace, and as I say, through the comics, down the outside, or got inside leaders after they'd swung for home. saving ground down the side was a little bit of an advantage, but then getting off the fence in the straight was an advantage, and it helped you. There was a runner there which we have seen winning at the provincials. We saw it win at was it Scone, and then Goulburn last start. A runner in race 2 called Astronomous, and it was very hard to gauge this runner yesterday, going up in grade against a fairly average team of horses, but it's a very lightly race runner, an import, and it won very, very well. It will no doubt win a few more races. Very quickly, we got to beautiful headquarters today at Randwick. Randwick headquarters. The track was upgraded from a soft 7 to a 6 to a 5, they said. And off the fence was the place to be. The breeze, similar to Rosehill, stayed in the same direction all day, and that was out of the southeast. No, the southwest. The southwest. It helped the times a bit because it was with them down the side and also with them in the straight. But not the track was did improve as the day went on with that breeze, and it was best, as I say, to be off the fence in the straight. Although the last winner did cross. It was the only 1400 metre race. There were a lot of races few races out of the chute there today. Of course, we had the Villiers today, which was won by the Queensland visitor, ridden by the Apprentice, who couldn't claim, and I made sure I made it my worst way. And he rode a great race, looking at sitting in about midfield, getting a middle split turning for home, well off the fence, and was strong to the line. Trained by Helen Page. We saw the last winner, Peace Force, cross from the outside alley. There were 10 runners, had barrier 10, ridden by brilliant Brendan Abdallah, went straight across and sat close to the fence coming down the side. He had them off the bit. On his outside was Mademoiselle, who they said they were going to ride quieter today, but there wasn't much pace in this race, and how are they going to do that? It sat outside the lead, but when they turned for home, he wasn't too far off the fence on the leader. No more for the Avery. Wasn't too far off the fence on the leader, Peace Force, but as he swung for home and topped the rise, he got a little bit further off the fence, was able to shake off Mademoiselle, who ran very poorly last start. It did improve today, and it held on for second. And running third was the Melbourne visitor, who's been racing in South Australia and Melbourne, Witness Delight, trained by Tony McAvoy. It came from back in the field and got into third hole. The winner, as it got down to the line, it was closer to the fence than it was halfway up the straight, and it turned out the way the race was run helped it win, and it was the runner that was closest to the fence all day that got home. We saw in race 7 Ball of Mud. This was a huge difference to me. I wanted the second horse, Miniature. I think Bold Blake Shin might have fallen for the 3-card trick here. He might, well, you think he would have been aware. Everyone was aware that the difference in this race, the difference in the result of this race, of course, was the riding tactics of the bottom runner here, number 10, Quell. Every time Quell races, of course, it only knows one thing. It's a jackrabbit, gets out of the barriers and it runs. Well, they said, oh, no, you can't be up near the lead here today. Well, Cross, we know the fence is no good. Paul Perry stable. So they said, we're going to ride it off the pace. Well, they did. They rode it back. And, of course, he was drawn on its outside, the extreme outside alley. There were 9 runners. He had barrier 9 for Bowl Blake Shin on miniature. And, of course, he fell for the 3-card trick. Instead of staying on Quell's back, he went inside it. And instead of tailing Quell up, which was the obvious thing to do, we can't understand how he fell for it, but he didn't tail Quell up and get to its outside and come down the outside. No, what did he do? He went back and came through the comics where and inside runners. He did go around one runner, who was still off the fence, but it was very hard for miniature to do. To come from the position it was in to run down the favourite Ball of Muscle, who led always off the fence, having the horse who drew barrier 1 reins above inside it, and they never went as hard as everybody thought they would in this race. And of course, miniature went out after Ball of Muscle and wasn't able to run it down. It was the way the race was run was the difference between winning and losing. That was about the meeting. If you were grumble and grunting or fielding them, I hope you finished on the right side of the ledger. Good evening.